And this is Key, and we're low key. So today we're gonna, I have just a statement on what I think. Okay, um, living in stress is living in survival or survival mode. So if you agree, I want you to comment below, and if you do agree, tell me why you agree with it. So when I say living in stress, you think about when you're stressed, how your mind, how you automatically respond to a stressful moment. So any given situation, something that makes you feel uncomfortable, something you take very serious, something happens, tragedy, anything, you become stressed. Then under that stress, your brain creates chemical compounds that turns those receptors on. So
What's the stress hormone called?
cortisol.
Big
So
C's.
yeah, big C's, and that will make you big C's too. Big F's, big fat. But that builds up, your blood starts to circulate real fast, it's rushing, your heartbeat starts to speed up. And it's like sometimes, I know for me, if I'm stressed or under stress, and if you're not managing it, like stress is gonna come, guys. Like you can't get around it. Things are going to happen. It's just how you respond to them. So when you respond to them with anxiety, when you're in a stressful state, you become self-centered, selfish.
In a bad way.
In a bad way. It's all about you. It's all about the situation you're going on. Just think about it when you're around people and something happens and they start talking about what's happening to them, and then the next thing you know, it's a trigger for you, because then you start thinking about similar things that are happening to you, and then you start to get stressed. Well, those chemicals are producing cortisol, and cortisol is like, that's a killer, and it's silent. You don't see it. All you know is after a few months or something, your heart, you start getting congestion, how you say it, congestive heart failure,
Yep.
High blood pressure. Next thing you know, you had a heart attack. But this is a buildup, and you don't want to do that. You want to be able to have stress, but when you do have stress, you want to be able to control it, you know? And I just feel like whenever you're stressed, you're in a survival mode because you're trying to figure out how to get to a solution. You're trying to figure out, why did this happen, or how did this happen? And you keep pressing on that same button over and over and over again, and you keep getting the same response, and you go into an automatic panic.
That's real.
And then you're in survival. And we all know with animals, when they're trying to survive. You think about the gazelle with the lion. The gazelle just don't want to get eaten.
Yeah.
So it's in survival mode all the time.
Yeah.
Heart racing all the time. But that's what it's meant to do. But as humans, we have the ability to create and control. We can create anything we want. So if we can do that, we can control our environment with our minds.
You know, just adding on to what you were saying, like the way the system is set up, right, and the way that your debit card probably set up. You got your checking account and your savings account. No, I'm just playing.
What?
No, but talking about the animal kingdom though.
Mm-hmm.
So the deer, the way the government is set up, if you're not a predator, you're going to be the prey. So when we talk about living in stress, put you in survival mode, like when you open yourself up for all of these attacks from the outside world, friends, families, bill collectors, like you just overwhelmed with everybody else. You know, you like a deer out there grazing, eyes wide open. You trying to eat what you can. You looking left, you looking right, and you ready to haul ass any given moment. Cause they on you.
They on you.
Cause you done turned into prey. Cause you didn't study, you didn't organize, and you didn't calculate. So when you stressed out, it brings your reaction and your decision making all the way back down to primitive levels because you just thinking about surviving until the next day. Unfortunately, like most people still like that because it's set up to be like that.
Absolutely.
And they made it so difficult to study and to organize, and with this paper terrorism, a lot of people find it easier to just be stressed out at that basic level, waiting for the handouts. Like you have become an expert at playing the survival game, and it's generational. Straight up.
Yeah, that's not, and it doesn't feel good. I believe a lot of people, when they do that, they've been taught that. So your parents or whoever raised you around you have taught you how to panic. Like no one comes out of their mother's womb learning what panic is, how to panic, and that puts you in a survival mode. Like, are you really living in love and gratitude? Or are you really living in stress and survival?
Selfish, like that just puts you all the way in the selfish mentality. No matter how good you think you are, like you putting your focus on being scared, being nervous, being stressed out, overthinking, and you have therefore turned yourself into a prey animal.
Yeah, and it's so easy. Like it's easier for a person to do that than to find a solution and move on.
Yeah, especially when that's all you see. When that's all you see around you. Coming up from 0 through 7, that's all you see around you.
And that's a low vibration.
Like you gotta be thinking a certain way to pull yourself away from that, or you finish, you gonna hand it down to your kids because it ain't what you say. More so as it is the things that you do.
Absolutely.
Like, it's real.
Absolutely. And to touch on what you just said, the reason why we panic or we stress is because we haven't studied.
Yeah.
And when you study a thing, you know it, You know it, which means that when you know it, knowledge is the key. So when I think it's a Bible verse, I believe it's, I want to say 2 Timothy, I want to say 2 and 15, but it talks about showing thyself approved. So
study and show thyself approved.
Yeah. So you can rightfully divide the word of truth. So it doesn't necessarily, yes, it's in the Bible, but we talking about all areas. Study to show ourselves self-approved. So we talking about finance, we talking about spirituality, we talking about everything.
Down to the kids and them passing the tests that come out. You have to study to show yourself approved. You're not just gonna go from making horrible decisions in relationships with your money, to being Bill Gates if you haven't studied and showed yourself approved in those areas. Like, it takes time.
Absolutely.
But our perception of time is that we have forever. And then you reach that threshold to where it is so hard to turn around, you'll rather not even look back on it.
Yeah, you get old, like.
For real.
And what I found, I know I say it all the time, but meditation segment intended. I'm about to start doing something. I'm going to do a review on it, let you guys know if it worked, so maybe you can try it yourself. But every relationship, every aspect of your life, get you a notebook, and you need to write in it daily. Write in it the things that you like, the things you can work on, even the thoughts that you have about whatever area of your life that you feel like you want to improve, and it should be every area, because no area is at its best. It should be, you should always challenge yourself to be better. So I think that can help. But I'm gonna try it first, and then I'm gonna see how it works for me, and then I'll let you guys know how you can self-improve and use it in your life.
You know, it's crazy how we taking advice from people that we haven't even looked at the thing that they giving us advice on.
So
You gotta think about that. Are you know what I'm saying, living in survival because you stressed out? You know, is stress keeping you at the lowest vibration of survival? You gotta think about it. You got something else, man?
No, that's it, man.
We're gonna holler at y'all on the next one. It's Low.
This is Key, and we're Low Key.
Peace.